Hello and welcome back to episode 4 of The Journey. Today is June the 14th and we're actually doing something a little bit different in this episode. So a couple of days ago, I actually had a sales call with a potential client with a deal ranging anywhere from £1,500 up to £15,000 a month. Now this is a prospect that going into this, I didn't realize had 10 brands they wanted me to manage. Initially, I just thought it was 1 or 2. I priced at £1,500 per account. Now, I'm currently still in negotiations with this client. I haven't closed a deal, and to be honest with you, I'm unsure if I'm going to. I followed up over the last few days, and they've left me on red, so we'll see how that goes. But either way, I thought you'd be interested in seeing this, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you the sales call, and as I'm doing it, as I'm taking the call, I'm also going to go in and break things down for you, explain why I'm saying certain things, explaining the questions that I'm asking, and also a bit behind the structure of the sales call. Now, due to the privacy of the client, obviously I couldn't share too much. Originally, this call was actually like a 45-minute call, and obviously I've cut that massively right down, and you're gonna hear a lot of the sales call from my point of view, and it looks like I'm talking a lot in the sales call, but it's just because obviously for his own privacy, for the prospect's privacy, I'm not gonna sit there and show you him talking about his business and all the personal things of his business for 40 minutes. I'm just gonna kind of show you some of his answers, but mainly my side of the sales call. Now, although I didn't close this deal, I will keep you updated in the coming episodes of The Journey, and I do actually have live footage of me closing a $2,000 per month client. I have like the whole audio clip of that. So if you want to see that, drop a comment down below and let me know, and also drop a like on this video, and I'd be more than happy to post that. So without further ado, let's jump into it. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you doing? Because obviously you've got the one here, and that's the one you shared with me and the business manager, and then you've obviously got and then as well. Are those both running at the same kind of ad spend?
Actually, was working very well, like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
We just make 50K in sales, but then it just, I don't know why, maybe because of, not know, but everything goes bad. We just have a rise of 0.2, like something like that.
Oh, really?
Really bad.
Okay, so I just thought I would hop inside of the video here and break this first part of the call down. So obviously I started out by introducing myself. We built a bit of rapport here just for a few seconds. And then I jumped straight in, took control of the call, and started asking questions. Now, initially, I knew that one of the accounts was spending €2,000 a day. No, sorry, €2,000 a day on ad spend, but I didn't know the other few businesses. I didn't know how much he was spending, so I went ahead and asked him. Now, you notice there that he told me that one of them was working extremely well, and they actually managed to make 60K profit in the space of a couple of weeks, but it then dropped down to a 0.2 ROAS and become extremely unprofitable out of the blue. Now, what's really good about this is he's directly telling me his pain points, what his problems are, what his issues are, so I can then touch on those later in the sales call and use them to help me obviously offer a solution to his problem. So another thing worth noting here is obviously the one account I knew was spending $2,000 a day, so I knew it was going to be a pretty high ticket client. So when he told me that one of the other accounts had made 60K in a really short period of time, I knew that this could potentially be quite a high ticket client, because he essentially just told me how much money he was spending and how much money he was making. I could have a look at the ad account. That, you know, we could always share that across to me afterwards. I don't mind having a look. Okay, so what I've done here is extremely important for you to know. Now, for a lot of you, you probably won't think I've done anything other than just ask for access to an ad account, all right? But what I've really done here is get a micro commitment. Now, essentially what a micro commitment is, it's getting somebody to make a really small commitment to you, because the more that you can get somebody to make those commitments and say yes, the more likely you are to get a yes at the end of the sales call and actually close the deal. Now, a micro commitment could be anything from I don't know, access to a Facebook page, to potentially sign in a contract, to obviously, the best commitment of all, which is obviously a payment, or, something small like getting access to the ad account. So I know if I can get him to give me analyst access, admin access, whatever it may be to his ad accounts and get that micro commitment, I'm more likely to get a full commitment at the end of the sales call when I go for the close. And can you ship? Well, is this drop shipping then? Is this like held in China?
Actually, this is drop shipping, but we managed to have a contract with the supplier, and we have like a 7-day shipping.
Oh, okay, that's really good.
That's quite good for the business.
Yeah, a lot of drop shipping, it takes like 30 days, 60 days, doesn't it? Some of it, so.
Yeah, 60 days or like more months to get shipped.
Yeah. So I know if you want, I've got like a list of things here that I kind of noticed about the ad account. Obviously, it's in French, so most of the stuff I can make out, but just a couple of the ad set names and things like that, and campaign names that I just... Okay, this is something important to note as well, I forgot to mention, was that the person I was speaking to was French, and the ad account that I got analyst access to before the call was also in French. All the campaigns or the ad accounts were all named in French. So there was a communication barrier here, both on the call and also kind of prior to the call, trying to understand the ad accounts and things like that. So again, just important to note, yes, there was a slight communication barrier, but that isn't going to stop us both working on trying to create a win-win relationship for both parties. Yeah. Well, the funny thing is, I do have one in-house employee, and he does actually speak French. So I mean, it's not fluent. It's not fluent enough to probably write a complete ad copy, but you can still speak French enough to sort of make sense of the ad accounts, which is helpful. So this right here is a prime example that every single sales call can go slightly different, and that you have to just use certain things to your advantage. Now, what I'm saying in this call is 100% true. I do have an in-house employee, and that in-house employee happens to speak some French. And you know what? If that one thing can help me stand out a little bit compared to other freelancers or other people or agencies he's speaking to, I'm definitely going to use that to my advantage. Now, whether you're, live in the same city as the person you're speaking to, whether maybe you have a huge interest, maybe it's a fitness client, and maybe you go to the gym 7 days a week, you've done personal training before, you're familiar with nutrition, and use that stuff to your advantage where possible. So is it possible, because I know obviously on the landing page, obviously you have like it's €170 down to like €60. On the retargeting though, I know you've already it's already perceived like a big discount, but one thing I noticed on the retargeting that could definitely help increase the ROAS is if offering like a discount code. Like, could you do an additional 20% off or anything like that?
Yeah, because right at the moment we don't do it right now.
Yeah.
But like everyone saying that it would be good to have it, I will have it for sure.
Yeah.
Soon.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe with your work, I don't know.
Yeah. So I would recommend that for sure, because right now, like from looking at it over the last, this in June, 5% of the budget I worked out by the looks of it had been on like retargeting. And I think, I don't know if I've written down here, but there was a lot, I think it was like over 2,000 initiate checkouts as well. So in the last 30 days there. So, I think there's a lot of low hanging fruit on the retargeting that could be for making a lot of money. Obviously you're killing it with the lookalike audiences. The lookalike audiences seem to be going really well for you. But where I noticed that the most low hanging fruit is definitely on retargeting. But I think it would be important to try, and try different ones as well. So you'd have like a 2-day, a 5-day, a 7-day add to cart, and then do the same with the view content. So a 2-day, 5-day, 7-day view content custom audience with retargeting. So what I'm doing here is giving him tailored advice. Now, I'm unsure if any of the other people he was speaking to or agencies he was speaking to had taken the time to not only ask for analyst access, but also taken the time to go in and bother taking a look at the ad account, what's going right, what's going wrong. But I think this tailored approach of, rather than just saying, here's what we could do, and just kind of giving him some spiel about what I roughly think they could do and just assume, I've actually gone into the ad account, given some real advice, and told him essentially what my value ad could be. Straight off the bat, I come across as a figure of authority, that I know what I'm talking about, and that I've got a strategy that I'm going to execute upon immediately if we move forward together. Actually shipping costs as well. So what is your, it's free shipping, isn't it?
Yeah, free shipping.
Free shipping, okay. But how much does it cost you to ship, or is it $12 shipped? Is that how much it costs you?
I don't really know. It's maybe like $3 or $4.
Is that additional to the 12, or is that included in the 12?
It's included in the 12.
Okay, great. That's good to know. So this is where a lot of people go wrong in sales calls. What they do is they just hard sell. But do you notice here how what I'm doing instead is I'm asking questions and I'm just gathering information and data, and I'm actively listening. So obviously right now you're just seeing kind of my side of the call, but the remainder, like the kind of the other 30, 40 minutes of this call is just him speaking and me listening. So, my goal on this discovery call is to gather as much information and data as possible, so I can then know how to price my services, so I know how to offer an exact solution to their problems. The more I know about their pain points, their products, how much money they're spending in ad spend, what their profit margins are, how much, the cost of goods are, all of those things. The more information I have, the better I know, A, if I can even help the client, and B, how much to price the client, okay? So don't be the person that tries to just hard sell. Be the person that shows a genuine interest and just gathers information and asks professional questions. Your client should be the one doing most of the talking on a sales call. I mean, are you managing the account every day yourself? Is that how you're doing it right now?
Actually, yeah, I'm just taking a look every day, scanning to stop the ads that we are bad. But there is no real knowledge, like I said, so maybe I'm doing the thing wrong.
Mm-hmm. And I bet it takes you quite a lot of time, I suppose, as well, does it, to go in and...
Actually, yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's why
I'm also losing time learning things on the web, so it's okay.
And obviously you've got the business to run yourself as well, so is this your only company right now, or do you have another business, or...?
Actually, I was owning a development agency, but I just stopped.
Yeah.
And now I'm just doing dropshipping. I want to make it big.
Sure.
You can have something of the budget to run on the ad.
Mm-hmm. So now there are two parts of every single sell. You've got the logic, and then you've got the emotion. And generally speaking, for every sale, people buy with emotion, and then they justify it with their logic. And normally it's actually about 80% emotion and then 20% logic is sales. So, if you have only one without the other, you're going to struggle to close a deal. So in most cases, you're going to need both logical persuasion and also emotional persuasion. So you'll notice earlier in the call, when I was asking lots of questions about the real nuts and bolts of the business, talking to him, giving him a strategy and advice on the retargeting, the exact type of custom audiences, implementing discount codes, that kind of stuff is logical. It's black and white. It makes sense to him as to why it would work. You see what I'm doing here now is I'm actually trying to evoke some emotion from him. I'm asking him things like, this is taking you a lot of time. Do you have other businesses? I even asked him if he was managing the account himself, to which he told me, yes, I'm doing it myself, and I'm making a lot of mistakes because he isn't knowledgeable. He also told me that it was taking up a lot of time. So what's this doing? This is evoking emotion. I'm basically getting him to tell me that he's wasting time and leaving money on the table by not hiring me, okay? But this is very, very minimal, but it's extremely, extremely powerful that you have both the emotional side and the logical side when trying to persuade and close clients. Another thing that I think could really help, and I'm more than happy to discuss ideas and stuff with you, and obviously you'd have to find suitable products, but I think some kind of upsell off the back, like just a one-click upsell would massively increase the average order value. Is that something you've thought about? Any products you have in mind, or? So again, before with the emotion, and then I've just hit them again with some more logical persuasion, giving them some more advice on things I can do to help increase the ROAS, increase the average order value. To give you an idea, I have a client and he had an email list of 1,000 buyers. So it's quite a lot, but it's not huge. It's not a huge amount. And just from creating a lookalike audience off of 1,000 buyers, it was already extremely profitable kind of from day one. So 50,000 emails, you can only imagine, would be even better. So here I actually asked him if he had an email list of buyers, because I noticed that he didn't have any email list uploaded as a custom audience on his Facebook ad account. So I went ahead and asked him, to which he responded saying he had 50,000 emails. So what I did here was kind of social proof myself and tell him that I've actually been able to get results with lookalike audiences based off a email list of 1,000 buyers on one of my other client accounts. So, again, I anchored that 1,000 and said, if we've got results for my other client at 1,000, imagine the kind of thing we can do with your email list at 50,000. So, obviously that gives me some social proof and authority and just drives home that, I can get results. And I've done it with a lot smaller email lists in the past. So are these all going to be like one product stores as well? So it'll be 7 different
single, yes.
Yeah.
It's going to be
sure.
10 new stores.
10 new stores. Okay, great. So at this point right now in the call, I had dollar signs going off in my head. Originally, I knew that he wanted me to manage 1 to 3 accounts, and I'd already planned on pricing at around £1,500 to £2,000 per account. So when he told me that he was actually going to start 10 brand new stores and he wanted me to manage all of those, all of a sudden I realized that this could potentially turn into a 6-figure deal. So, you notice on the call as well, I don't show any emotion. I play it cool. I play it professional. And, when I come to pricing in the next video here, in the next clip, you'll see that, I don't get nervous when it comes to pricing. I just state my price and then I listen.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, imagine I decide to hire you, and tomorrow we launch a product.
Mm-hmm.
How much will it cost me, and how do you want to start?
Sure. So normally with something like this, it would normally be something like 10% of ad budget, but as it's obviously quite, there's a lot of different products, it's quite a large ad budget. I think initially what I would want to do, just to make sure it's like profitable for you, we could start off at £1,500 per month, sort of per ad account. So what I did here was an extremely powerful sales technique called anchoring. So as mentioned, the guy was spending €2,000 a day, which is about €60,000 a month. So what I decided to do was use what's called a price anchor. So I said, normally I charge 10% of ad budget. Obviously 10% of 60 grand a month would be €6,000. So my anchor is €6,000. So by having that, when I go ahead and say, but to ensure this is profitable for you, it's going to be £1,500 a month. If I was to just say £1,500 a month, it could, I think because he's got a large ad budget, it wouldn't come across expensive to him. But, for a lot of people, £1,500 a month might come across quite expensive. But when you have an anchor and say, look, normally it would be 6 grand, but actually it's only going to be 1,500. Suddenly that minimizes the effect of the £1,500 because you've got that 6,000 as an original anchor. Really minimal again, but super powerful. It's £1,500 per ad account, so I could start by taking on one and then.
Yeah, we will launch only, or we will start with one.
Yeah. So again, this is another micro commitment here. He's going to start 10 new brands. So rather than saying, okay, that's going to be 15 grand tomorrow for me to take over all 10 ad accounts, I'm just saying, look, let's just start with one, because I know if I can get him committed to just paying £1,500 a month for one, I can probably get him slowly over the next couple of weeks, couple of months, get him committing to all 10 of those ad accounts. So just another really prime example of micro commitments.
So it's like 1,000 for one account?
1,500.
Okay. I think it was like 5,000. I was like, oh.
No. 1,500.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 1,500. Okay, great.
Mm-hmm. Okay, this is very minimal here, but I'm going to replay you something right now and show you how powerful. This is probably one of the most powerful things in the sales call, but it's unbelievably small. So let me just replay you this a second. No. 1,500.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 1,500. Okay, great.
Mm-hmm. So what is so important about this is the fact I say my price confidently and then do not say a single word after it. Now, the reason for this is because I'm trying to gauge the exact response that the client's going to have, because it's going to go one of two ways, right? They're going to have a clear price objection, and you can tell that by them either straight up saying it's too expensive, or from a hesitation, or it will go the way that I showed you in this call right now, where I don't say anything and the client just goes, okay, great. Straight off the bat, there's absolutely no hesitation. There's no price objection there. I know that the price does not faze him whatsoever. Whereas what you'll find in a lot of situations is, and I've seen this happen all the time, I did it when I was a beginner, and I would say my price, wouldn't say it confidently, I'd say, it's like $600 a month, and you're going to get this, you're going to get that, you're going to get this, and I would just try and justify my price over and over again, and you end up just losing the sale. You're not in control anymore, you end up blabbling on about stuff that the client already knows, okay? So say your price, be quiet, and listen to the response. And yes, sometimes you're going to have an awkward silence, but do not ever be the first person to speak. I don't care how awkward it gets. Just say your price, say it confidently, and just be quiet. And then at least if they do have a negative response, they hesitate. Maybe they say that you get some kind of price objection. That's great because you know where you stand. You can then either negotiate price, you can overcome any objections, and then loop back around to the sell again. So hopefully that makes sense. Super minimal, but very, very important. Be confident with your price and then listen. Yeah, so besides that, I think I've pretty much covered everything here on my list. So, if you're happy to, I think I've just got analyst access right now. So obviously I would just need to increase that access. I can send you over the first invoice, and I can send you I'll have a list of things that I kind of request from you, if that's okay. So just a few things, maybe discount codes, email lists. I've got a few questions. So unfortunately at this point right now, my camera actually died and I couldn't capture the last 2 minutes of the sales call. But essentially what you see me doing here at the end again is getting more commitment. So I say, right now, obviously I've got analyst access. I need you to make me an admin of the ad account. I'm going to send over the invoice and essentially send him over my questionnaire and onboarding process. From there, he then proceeded to object, telling me that he had to speak to his business partner and he was speaking to other agencies. Now, I did try the whole, what would it take for us to do business together today, kind of to overcome the objection, but he was very, very, very adamant that he wanted to speak to his business partner and, speak to the other freelancers / agencies that, he sort of had in his pipeline. So, at that point there, I'm not the kind of person to just sell really, really, really hard. I tried to overcome the objections and he was very adamant, and I'm almost certain that he wasn't going to move. So at that point, what I did was again try to get those commitments. I sent him across everything mentioned in the sales call, and I've proceeded to follow up over the last couple of days with unfortunately no response. Now, I believe in that sales call I did pretty much everything I could. There's always room for improvement, but sometimes you win, sometimes you don't. I think in all honesty, what put him off towards the end was just the fact that it was going to be $1,500 for then 10 accounts, which would have been 15 grand a month. I think, overall, I think the 15 grand a month was probably what scared him off. If he didn't have 10 different stores that he wanted managing and it was just 1 or 2 accounts, I'm almost certain he would have paid right there on the spot and moved forward. But again, I'll continue to follow up, and in the next few episodes of The Journey, if I hear any kind of response, I'll definitely let you all know. Boom, there we have it. Thank you very, very much for watching. I hope you learned something interesting in this video. From the feedback that I've been getting, it seems like a lot of you are really enjoying the more openness behind the scenes, things like sales calls, me prospecting, sending looms. So if you have any video ideas or anything you'd like me to show you, be sure to drop a comment down below, and I'm very certain in the next kind of coming weeks, I'm gonna have several different sales calls that I'm gonna be able to show you of me actually closing the deal on the phone. So yeah, plenty of things to look forward to. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you are new, hit on that notification bell, and I will see you in the next episode of The Journey.